Namaste. I welcome you all back on this national webinar series on Yoga Ramayana Vishwakosha History, a 108 days program. Today I am very delighted to have with us Professor M.K. Sridhar sir. Dr. M.K. Sridhar sir is currently serving as Registrar of S. Vyasa University, Bengaluru. For about 3 decades, Dr. Sridhar served as an Associate Professor of Sanskrit at National Degree College, Baswangudi. He served as Assistant Professor of Hinduism and Indian Philosophy at Hindu University of America, Orlando, USA. He was a Fulbright Scholar at South Carolina University in the year 2000. He has presented various papers at national and international conferences. He is a recipient of various awards. He also served as a Registrar of Karnataka Sanskrit University, Chamrajpet. It's a pleasure to have Professor M.K. Sridhar sir at this webinar. In today's session, he will enumerate on various dimensions of Ramayana as a history, as a Purana, a narrative and a poem. Let us listen to him.
वेद वेद्ये परे पुंसी जाते दशरथात्मजे वेद प्राचेतदासीत् साक्षात् रामायणात्मना. Friends, the Ramayana is the primordial epic of India as well as the world. The eternal values of the Vedas and the Upanishads were reiterated through the epics and the ballads and the saga. One among the great epic of India was the Ramayana, written by sage Valmiki, consisting of 24,000 verses in 7 kandas or sections. The Ramayana speaks of the origin evolution of the solar rays or Surya Vamsha, which the sub-branch of it was Ikshvaku Vamsha, and it elaborates upon the highest ideals of the Vedas and the Upanishads and as represented in other scriptures of India. Sage Valmiki, who was a contemporary of Rama, elaborated upon these values. In fact, he explains in very many places that Rama was the 7th incarnation of Lord Mahavishnu, and his consort goddess Lakshmi was also the incarnation. Sita was born as Sita. So Sita as well as Rama represented the ideal manhood and the ideal womanhood. Throughout this epic, we find that Rama is represented as an ideal son, an ideal brother, an ideal husband and an ideal friend, along with Sita, who is the very epitome or the symbol of an ideal wife, ideal mother and an ideal woman. So these concepts of idealism have been elaborated throughout the Ramayana. Then what is the essence of Ramayana? Ramayana, as I told you, stood for eternal values. The values are Satya, truth, Dharma, righteousness and Ritam, cosmic order. Valmiki says, Dharmo hi paramo loke satye dharmam pratishtitam. This dharma or righteousness, also called as righteous value, one among the 4 values of Indian ethos, dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Among them, the foremost is dharma or the righteousness, and this is the supreme thing in the world, parame loke. And in this dharma is stationed or established satya or truth. Satya means truth, and it leads one to higher truth and the highest truth. the highest truth is represented by the absolute Brahman or the supreme Brahman of the Upanishads or the Purusha of the Rig Veda. So throughout the Ramayana we find these values have been elaborated through the shining examples of Rama, Sita, Lakshmana, Bharata, Shatrughna and Rama's friends Vali, then Hanuman and others. So Ramayana represents the extraordinary values. Then is Ramayana a history or a myth or a Purana? Because at every step it has been elaborated that this is itihasa, as the very word denotes. Iti, thus, ha, indeed, asa was there. So itihasa means it is history which was there. So Ramayana is a history by itself, and it is a Purana, a myth dealing with the daring acts of the adventure of the gods and the goddesses, and it is a saga, a gatha or a Yashogatha of Rama, because he became victorious over the evil people. The entire Ramayana speaks of the triumph of righteousness over unrighteousness, triumph of truth over untruth, and triumph of order over chaos. So that way Ramayana is a very important history also, because it is said itihasa puranabhyam vedam samupabhrahmayet bhivetyalpa shrutad vedo mam ayam praharishyati. As the very shloka suggests, it is said that the Veda should be understood, the Veda should be extended and understood with the help of itihasa and Purana. Itihasa is history, Purana is myth. The word Upabrahmana means extension, it means explanation. So Valmiki, sage Valmiki, who wrote this Ramayana consisting of 24,000 verses, taught this to the sons of Rama, that is Lava and Kusha. Vedopa brahmanarthaya tavagrahayata prabhu is the quotation which we find in the entire Ramayana. That means this Upabrahmana means the extension of the Vedas, which is the Ramayana, was taught to Lava and Kusha, the sons of Rama and Sita, by Valmiki for the welfare of the country, of the citizens of the world. So that way the Ramayana as well as the Mahabharata or the Itihasa or the history. In fact, at every place we find there is a quotation and a reference saying that Ramayana is a history, itihasa, as well as an akhyana. Akhyana means a narrative, and this narrative was authored by sage, therefore it is Arsha, called as Arsha Kavya. Arsha Kavyamidam Rusheridam Arsham, and at every step we find Valmikihi Bhagavan Rushihi. In fact, Kalidasa, while giving tributes to Rama and to the Raghuvamsha, in his work the master epic Raghuvamsha says that Swakrutim Gapayamasa Kavi Prathama Paddhatim, means Kalidasa wrote this in order to show that one's own work by Valmiki was transferred to the second generation as a poet. So this whole Ramayana is also considered a Samhita or a collection. And in the Balakanda itself we find Ramayana is called a kavya, means the work of a poet. Kavehe karma kavyam, it is said. The work of a poet is called kavya, and Valmiki was a primordial poet of India, the foremost poet of India. What he wrote or authored became the kavya. So Ramayana is also a kavya, and this kavya became the ultimate source and the supreme source and the substratum for all the second generation poets, as elaborated by Valmiki. Param Kavinam Adharam. It is the adhara or the base or the substratum of supreme, param, supreme state and supreme substratum for Kavi, for all the poets. So that way this Ramayana is a itihasa, a history, Purana, a myth, a kavya, a poetry, and it is an akhyana, a narrative. Evametat puravrutham akhyanam, it is mentioned in Yuddhakanda, means in this manner, this old conduct, the ancient conduct of the kings, of the vassals, of the emperor and the great person like Rama was elaborated in the form of a narrative. So Mahabharata is also a narrative. Then it is said later by that it is the itihasam puratanam, it is the most ancient history of India. So some Westerners, having studied the Ramayana and the Mahabharata from the times of the Indologists, the German Indologists 250 years ago, have told that Ramayana is only a Purana and it cannot be a history, because Indians are not well versed in documenting the history. On the contrary, we find in the Valmiki Ramayana itself, itihasam puratanam is the reference made. So that way, Valmiki further explains, and itihasa is defined thus: dharmartha kama mokshanam upadesha samanvitam purva vrutta katha yuktam itihasam prachakshate. Prachakshate, it is been elaborately explained and pronounced as itihasa, a history which can promote dharma, righteousness or righteous value, artha, economic value, kama, emotional value, and moksha, spiritual value, which will help us to release ourselves from the shackles of birth and death and from ignorance or avidya. So it is upadesha samanvitam, it is endowed with upadesha or advice, and this comes in the form of katha or story, and it is purva vrutta. Vrutta means the conduct of purva, of former people. So obviously it is the history of the ancient kings, vassals and the dependent kings of India. Therefore it is called itihasa. In another place, Valmiki says this is not only the story of Rama, the conduct and the biography of Rama, but also that of Sita. He says, Rama kavyam Ramayanam kritsnam Sitayaha charitam mahat. In fact, before that we go for this sloka. Charitam Raghunathasya shatakoti pravistaram ekaikam aksharam proktam mahapataka nashanam. Means this is the charita or the conduct, the behavior, the biography of Raghunathasya, the lord of the Raghu family, that is the Raghu dynasty in which Rama was born. And Shatakoti Pravistaram, it can be explained in 100 crore verses. It is the conduct and the biography of Rama and Sita is so vast in nature that it can be elaborated and extended in Shatakoti, 100 crore. And it is said Charitam Raghunathasya Shatakoti Pravistaram Ekaikam Aksharam Proktam. Even every letter or one syllable mentioned in the Ramayana is capable of releasing us from the great sins committed. The great sins are elaborated in the Vishnu Purana and the other Puranas, and a person who does those sins will be tainted with sin and he becomes a sinner. How to get rid of that sin is by studying the Ramayana. So therefore Valmiki says this is the charita or the conduct or the behavior or the biography of Rama. In the same way, this is the conduct, the behavior and the biography of Sita also. Krutsnam completely, Ramayanam was written, Mahat of the great, Charitam the conduct of Sita. So, in this Valmiki Ramayana, as told by sage Valmiki, it is the story of the Raghuvamshasya. Raghuvamsha. Raghuvamshasya Charitam Chakara Bhagavan Rushihi. So, that way, it includes dharma, artha, kama and moksha. And this is the primordial poem of the entire universe. Therefore, it is called Adi Kavya. Adi, primordial, Kavya, poetry. Adi has another meaning, the best and the supreme. So, that way, it is the primordial poetry and the best poetry which came out several thousands of years ago, which I will elaborate later. So, this Adi Kavya Midam Tvarshyam Pura Valmikina Krutam. And this Adi Kavya or the primordial poetry was written by sage Valmiki, who was also a Rishi or a poet belonging to the Vedic period. Therefore, he was called Arsha Kavi. So, that way Ramayana speaks of Itihasa as well as Purana. It is history by itself. And here and there we find the references to the historical personages which were present during the times of the Ramayana. Actually, lot of people all over the world have studied the Ramayana. Ever since Sir William Jones, who was the Chief Justice of the Calcutta High Court, and he was the President of the Royal Asiatic Society of Bengal, being influenced by the drama of Kalidasa Abhignana Shakuntala, translated into Greek and actually Latin, Greek language and to English. That was published in 1789 CE. Since then, people across the length and breadth of the world have studied very many ancient texts and the epics of India, and among them the Ramayana is also one. And this Ramayana, as far as the date was concerned, people went on telling, the Westerners said that as far as the date is concerned, they gave several opinions, but according to ancient Indian opinion, ancient Hindu tradition, Rama belonged to Treta Yuga. So before him came the Krita Yuga. Each yuga consists of 4,72,000 years. So that way, in Treta Yuga, then came the Dwapara and the Kali Yuga. According to this date, generally the date given to the Ramayana is around 8,67,102 years, which is not accepted by the modern scholars. The modern scholars, such as the German Indologist Weber, says that Ramayana might have been written around 3rd and 4th century CE. Jacobi and MacDonald say that it may be written around 6th and 7th century CE. But all of them agree sometime that this Ramayana belonged to even earlier to the Buddhistic period. So we know that Bhagavan Buddha was born in 560 BCE. So the Ramayana is earlier to that of the Buddhism. Monier Williams and Winterneeds say that it belongs to the 3rd century BCE. Whereas another scholar, Joren Sterna, says around 2000 BCE. Now, as far as this date is concerned, there has been a discussion going on for the last 200 years, but owing to the excavations conducted in various sites in the Indus Valley civilization sites, and especially in the Harappa, Mohenjo-daro, Shanudaro, Kalibangan, Lothal, Surkathoda and other places, it has been estimated that the date of the Indus Valley civilization, now it is called Indus Saraswati civilization, goes back to 4500 BCE, before the Common Era. So you add the present CE, the Common Era, the 2000, so it obviously it is more than 6500 years ago. This Indus Valley civilization or the Indus Saraswati civilization existed on the banks of Saraswati, as opined by various scholars and as done by J.J. Marshall, the former Director General of India, of Archaeological Survey of India, and his Deputy Director General Banerjee and others. In fact, I quote as far as John Marshall says, "Their religion is so characteristically Indian as hardly to be distinguishable from still living Hinduism." Means J.J. Marshall says the Indus Valley civilization in those days is called, now called the Indus Saraswati civilization, and the civilization of Ramayana have no contrast, they are almost similar in nature. So that way it is said that Valmiki was a contemporary poet while writing the Ramayana. After the Ramayana was over, then after the Treta Yuga was over, came the Dwapara Yuga, in which Lord Krishna was born. It is mentioned in Vishnu Purana, Yasmin Krishno divam yatan tasminneva tadahani pratipannam kaliyugam. So, as when the Krishna did his avasana and called his day, he lived for 125 years calculated, and there ended the Dwapara Yuga and commenced Kali Yuga. In Kali Yuga, around 3100 BCE, it is Yudhishthira who ruled the kingdom, and he ruled for 36 years. After that, 22 generations ruled the country belonging to the lunar race. So that way, the date of the Mahabharata, Mahabharata war has been fixed 3101 BCE. So obviously, around 2 to 3000 years earlier, the Ramayana should have been written and Rama should have existed. So that way, we can safely keep the date of the Ramayana, the antiquity of the Ramayana, to around 6500 BCE, based on around 4500 to 5000 to 6500 BCE, based on various internal and external references, the archaeological excavations and the researches done on Indus Saraswati civilization, and the date given by George Feurenstein, Dr. Subhash Kak and David Frawley. The date of the Veda is given by them around 7500 BCE. So earlier to that, say around 1000 years later, the Ramayana might have happened. So we can safely, under the present context, under the present researches, we can say that the date of the Ramayana falls around 4500 to 6500 BCE. So that way we find the primordial, the most ancient kavya called the Valmiki Ramayana was written around 6500 BCE, means around 8500 years ago. So that way we should be happy that Ramayana is still a remarkable epic and the foremost epic of India, which is read and read as the Parayana by many devout Hindus in India, and also the Hindus present in around 100 countries all over the world. Namaskar, Dhanyavad.
My heartfelt thanks to M.K. Sridhar sir for giving his beautiful views on Ramayana and his history. Thank you.